No, forsooth, I dare not for my life.
Wrong, the more his spite appears. What did he marish me to famish me? Beggars that come undo my father's door, upon entreaty have a present alms. If not elsewhere, they meet with charity. But I, who never knew how to entreat, nor ever needed that I should entreat, I am starved for meat, giddy for lack of sleep. With oaths kept waking, and with brawling fed, and that which spites me more than all these wants, he does it under name of perfect love. Who should say if I should eat or sleep? 'Twere deadly sickness, or else present death. I prithee go and get me some repast. I care not, so what it be wholesome food.
What say you to a neat's foot?
'Tis passing good, I prithee, let me have it.
I fear 'tis too choleric a meat. How say you to a fat tripe finely broiled?
I like it well, good Grumio, fetch it me.
I cannot, I fear 'tis choleric. What say you to a piece of beef and mustard?
A dish that I do love to feed upon.
Aye, but the mustard too hot a little.
Why, then the beef and let the mustard rest.
Nay then, I will not. You shall have the mustard or no beef of Grumio.
Then both or one or any thou wilt.
Why then the mustard without the beef?
Go get thee gone, you false deluding slave!
In the arms of the angel, fly from this dark hole.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
That feedest me with the very name of meat, sorrow on thee and all the pack of you, that triumph thus upon my misery. Go get thee gone, I say.
How fares my cake? What's sweet in all the wine? Mistress, what cheer?
Faith as cold as can be.
Pluck up thy spirits, look cheerfully upon me. Here, love, thou seest how diligent I am, to dress thy meat myself and bring it thee. I am sure, sweet Kate, this kindness merits thanks. What, not a word? Nay, then thou lovest it not, and all my pains asserted to no proof. Here, take away this dish.
I pray you let it stand.
The poorest services were paid with thanks, and so shall mine before you touch the meat.
Thank you, sir.
Signor Petruchio, fie, you are to blame. Come, Mistress Kate, I'll bear you company.
Eat it up all, Hortensio, if thou lovest me. What could it do unto thy gentle heart? Kate, eat apace.
Tasty.
Will we return to thy father's house, and revel it as bravely as the best? With silken coats and caps and golden rings, with ruffs and cuffs and farthingales and things, with scarves and fans and double bravery, with amber bracelets, beads, and all this knavery. What, hast thou dined? The tailor stays thy leisure, to deck thy body with his ruffling treasure. What news with you, sir?
Here's your cap your worship did bespeak.
Why, this was molded on a porringer! A velvet dish, fie, 'tis lewd and filthy. Why, 'tis a cockle, walnut shell, a knack, a toy, a trick, a baby's cap. Away with it, come, let me have a bigger.
I'll have no bigger. This doth fit the time, and gentlewomen wear such caps as these.
When you are gentle, you shall have one too, and not till then.
Thou will not be in haste.
Why, sir, I trust I may have leave to speak, and speak I will. I'm no child, no babe, and if you cannot best stop your ears, my tongue will tell the anger of my heart, or else my heart concealing it will break. And rather than it shall, I will be free, even to the uttermost as I please in words.
Why, thou sayest true. It is a paltry cap, a custard coffin, a bauble, a silken pie. I love thee well in that thou likest it not.
Love me or love me not, I like the cap, and it I will have, or I will have none.
Thy gown? Why, come, let us see it. Mercy, gosh, what masking stuff is this? What's this, a sleeve? Just like a demi-cannon. What's up and down carved like an apple tart? You snip and nip and cut and slish and slash. Like to a censor in a barber shop. Oh, by what devil's name, Tailor, callst thou this?
I see she's like to have neither cap nor gown.
You bid me make it orderly and well, according to the fashion and the time.
Marry and did. But if you be remembered, did not bid you mar it to the time. Go hop me over every kennel home, for you shall hop without my custom, sir. Well, none of it, hence make your best of it.
I've never seen a better fashion gown. More quaint, more pleasing, more commendable. Be like you mean to make a puppet of me?
Why, true, he means to make a puppet of thee.
She says your worship means to make a puppet of her.
O monstrous arrogance, thou lies, thou thread, O thimble, thou yard three-quarters, half-yard quarter nail. Thou flea, thou knit, thou winter cricket, thou, braved in my own house with a skin of thread. Away, thou rag, thou quantity, thou remnant, or I shall so bemeet thee with thy yard. As thou shalt think on prating whilst thou livest, I tell thee, that thou hast marred her gown.
In Act 4, Scene 3 of the play Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare, we see a lot of evidence to support the idea that women have no power in a society. Although coming from a generally wealthy family, Katherine is still treated with little respect and is abused by Petruchio. Having never begged in her life, she's practically pleading for food and sleep when it comes to her marriage with Petruchio. Furthermore, he makes all the decisions for her, such as deciding whether or not she will like the caps and gowns that both the tailor and the haberdasher have prepared for her.
Act 4, Scene 3 begins at Petruchio's home, and the characters include Katherine, Grumio, Petruchio, a tailor, and a haberdasher.
Act 4, Scene 3 begins with Grumio refusing to give Katherine food. Katherine then says, "The more I am in pain, the more spite he appears. Did he marry me just not to feed me? Beggars that go to my father's do receive, do pay. If they do not, they search elsewhere. But I, who have never begged in my life, am starved and lay restless at night. What pains me the most is he pretends to do it for love, as if food or sleep will kill me. I ask you, go get me food. I don't care what, as long as it's food." Grumio then goes fetches food. Grumio then says, "How does a cow's foot sound?" Katherine then says, "Yes, let me have some." Grumio then creates an excuse saying, "I fear it will be too choleric. What do you say to an old ox's stomach?" Katherine then says, "I would like that. Get me some, Grumio." Grumio then says, "I am not sure. This may also be choleric. What does a piece of beef and mustard sound?" Then Katherine says, "A dish I would like very much." Grumio says, "Yes, but the mustard is too hot." Katherine then says, "Then give me the beef without the mustard." Grumio refuses to give her the beef without mustard. Katherine then says, "Then both or one or anything." Grumio then says, "Well, mustard without beef." Katherine responds with, "Go away, you false-speaking servant," and she beats him. "You only feed me names of food. Away with you and those who laugh upon my misery." This basically shows that she is being mistreated by Grumio and that she lashes out on him for simply making up lies about the food. Petruchio enters with Hortensio. Petruchio says, "How is my Kate?" with Hortensio saying, "Mistress, how do you do?" Katherine responds with, "Horrible as usual." Petruchio says, "Cheer up, I have prepared this meal and deserve a thanks," but then quickly comes up with an excuse and says, "What, no thank you? Well, I guess you are not hungry. Here, take away this dish." Katherine says, "Leave it there." Petruchio says, "You must thank me first." Katherine begs and pleads and says thank you. Hortensio then replies with, "Shame on you, Petruchio. You are too cruel. Come, Kate, I'll give you company." Petruchio whispers to Hortensio, "Eat it all if you love me, Hortensio." Then he says to Kate, "We will be going to your father's later. We'll dress as well as the best, with silk coats, hats and rings, and bold cuffs and other riches." And then replies with, "All finished," and he leaves no time for Kate to eat the food. and then says the tailor awaits you. The tailor enters the room, and Petruchio says, "Come, tailor, let's see what you have prepared for us. Show us the gown." The haberdasher also enters. Petruchio says, "What are you here for?" The haberdasher says, "Here's the hat you ordered." Petruchio ridicules the hat, calls it things like filthy and a baby's cap, referring to it as small. Katherine then says she's content with the cap, and says all gentlewomen wear one like so. Petruchio then says, you won't have a hat until you are a gentlewoman. Hortensio then whispers to himself, "That will take forever." Katherine then says, "Sir, Petruchio, I want to speak on my behalf. I'll either die concealing my feelings or show them. I want to speak for myself. I love the gown. I am not a child or an infant, so let me speak for myself." Petruchio then twists her words and says that he loves her more for not liking it. Katherine then says, "I don't care if you love me. I like the cap, and I will have it whether or not." Then the haberdasher exits.
Petruchio replies with, "What has happened? Why have you cut it like an apple tart? Snip and cut and slash. It's cut like a censer in a barber shop. What is this?" Hortensio says aside, "I see she will not have a cap or a gown." The tailor replies to Petruchio with, "You told me to make it nice and proper according to the current fashion." Petruchio replies with, "Yes, I did, but if you remember, I didn't tell you to change this style. Go home, sir, I am not a customer anymore. I don't want it anymore. Do what you want with it." Katherine replies with, "I have never seen a better gown that is more pleasing or well made. Why do you make a puppet of me?" Petruchio replies, "That's it, the tailor is making a puppet of you." The tailor replies with, "She means that you are making a puppet of her." Petruchio then says, "How arrogant, that's a lie. You threaded nimble, disrespected in my own house by a spool of thread. Get out of my house, or else you'll remember your rambling for the rest of your life. I tell you, you've ruined the gown."